San Isabel National Forest is a gem of southern Colorado. Only about an hour drive from the sunny town of Pueblo, San Isabel encompasses a 3 million acre swath of extraordinarily beautiful land. With just a few features of this breathtaking forest, including 9 designated wilderness areas, dozens of scenic byways, national grasslands, and more, there is no shortage of things to do here. Of course, hiking, hunting, fishing, and camping are a given, but don't forget the natural water slides, Picket Wire Canyon, and of course the iconic Bishop's Castle. Today, San Isabel National Forest remains a popular recreation spot, ranking at number 3 for national forest recreation visits in the entire country. San Isabel is currently classified under the International Union for the Conservation of Nature as a Category 1B protected area. This means that while there is some altered habitat and recreation, the natural character and integrity of the land is kept intact and is protected.
San Isabel has faced a history of threats since the land was taken from the indigenous people who lived there originally. Spanish land grants and homesteading American settlers pushed the Comanche and the Ute out of their homes in order to exploit the land and resources in it. And due to this, timber was in high demand for building purposes, which in turn led to extreme shrinkage of the surrounding forests. That is, until 1902, where the original forest was marked as a forest reserve and later, in 1907, changed into a national forest that would continue to expand until 1945 by integrating surrounding pieces of land. During this period of expansion, a man named Arthur Carhart proposed to allow for recreation in the area, but with a system focused on protecting nature and wildlife that lives within it.
Today, San Isabel continues to be challenged with a host of threats, including overvisitation, fire, and invasive species. Now, when many people think of invasive species, they may picture feral hogs or cats, or perhaps aquatic species such as zebra mussels. But San Isabel's aliens are actually plants.
These plants, known as noxious weeds, have an extremely heavy impact on every living thing that visits or lives within the boundaries of San Isabel. They tend to be poisonous to a very wide variety of animals, and some species are even harmful to people. And they have a very strong ability to destroy native populations of plants due to how easily they take vital resources from the native species. They reproduce at an alarming rate thanks to human and animal disturbance of the land. While these plants have heavy impacts around the world, San Isabel is very concerned with protecting the elk population present in the forest, as these weeds can prove to be very harmful to these majestic creatures. Yet, many of these invasive plants wouldn't even be in San Isabel if it weren't for the initial disturbances from the settlers who moved into previously native-controlled land. They brought many species into the U.S., and the areas in and around San Isabel were damaged enough to allow for the plants to easily grasp their position as one of the most dominant types of plants in the area. It is clear to see the concern that Park Services has over these plants, as they have multiple ways, such as signage and articles, to inform people not to go near or further disturb the plants if they come across them while on a nice hike or bike ride through one of San Isabel's beautiful trails.
So, how can we manage this problem? To best address this threat, the Forest Service has implemented a weed control program. Since a large motivation behind eradicating these weeds is to protect the local elk populations, the Forest Service first identifies key elk that is under threat from invasive weeds. They prioritize infested zones based on how much they have invested in protecting or restoring a natural area in the past, and the ability or plausibility of eradicating the weeds. They also prioritize the most aggressive weeds, which include but are not limited to leafy spurge, yellow-toed flax, diffuse or spotted knapweed, and musk or scotch thistles. Several different methods are used to control these weeds, ranging from chemical treatment, prescribed burns, and release of flea beetles. These methods are implemented year after year, usually in the spring and summer, and often with a dedicated volunteer force, often with follow-up treatments to certain areas. The areas are continuously monitored throughout their recovery.
All of these methods are part of a long-term management plan. Invasive species are a tricky thing to tackle, and unfortunately require management that may take years or even decades to get under control. The treatments prescribed are carefully planned and executed in an effort to ensure that any investment made is not wasted. Luckily, the treatments are proving themselves to be effective, as several critical elk foraging sites have been restored, which help the herds see through the harsh winters.
However, it can't all be up to the Forest Service to tackle this problem. As outdoor recreationists, wildlife enthusiasts, and nature lovers, it is our responsibility to minimize our impact. To prevent the spread of these noxious weeds, we need to make sure that all of our clothes, our shoes, our pets' fur, and even our car tires are free from seeds or debris from other natural areas. We can volunteer with San Isabel to help with weed removal, and perhaps, most important of all, we need to tell our fellow recreationists about the harm that invasive species can do, and tell them how to prevent the spread of these noxious weeds. The future of conservation in all protected areas, in all scenarios, lies in our hands.